Finish for
It's that time again. It's Thursday night. It's time for the RSR Asphalt Assault Series. It's been a while since I've done this, but guys, I know what I'm talking about this week. We're not at Mid-Ohio. We're at Bristol Motor Speedway, the short track. Probably the shortest track we go to. I do believe it is on the schedule. I'm Dakota Erman, joined by Harrison. I don't quite know his last name. Harrison, what's your last name?
I'm Harrison Weidlitz. I usually run NIS and things like that. I've done a little pro and iRacing, and glad to be here.
Glad to have you. See, that's how much I know. I'm just up here to sub, but glad to be here for another week of the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series. Again, last time I was here was Mid-Ohio. He was here last week with Tim Terry in the broadcast booth. But speaking of last week, we were at Kentucky Speedway. We look at the results. It was Bobby Terrell. He wins, but it's how he does it. He's going to make contact with Matt Lacrosse on the final lap. Or coming, I believe it is, to 2 to green, and that puts Lacrosse back all the way back to third. And I believe we have the replay for you here.
Yeah, it was a very exciting race for the win, and Matt Lacrosse dominated much of it. But coming down towards the end, Bobby Terrell was on 2 tires, and he was much faster. I think the 2 tires loosened him up a good bit, and he was coming very fast. And it was a good battle for probably 10 laps in a row, and just a little bit too close. As you saw, Terrell was trying to side draft him down the front stretch, trying to run him a little higher, and it simply didn't work out. But they were both good sportsmanship was shown about it, and they came out of there no hard feelings, I do believe. So it was a good win for Bobby Terrell and a dominating performance.
Yes, we do have the replay, and Laura's about to go ahead and play it for you here.
finish for car number 4. The 7 gets the run down the back straightaway like we've seen the last 10 laps or so, but once he gets to turn 3, it seems like that run just dies off the
front stretch. Bobby Terrell, the faster car, trying to get aggressive. Bobby was actually about 30 or 40 points back in the standings going into the final event, and Stefan Marinac had trouble. He was damaged early, was running in the mid-20s, and Bobby was trying to get all that he could. And so, although Matt Lacrosse dominated the vast majority of that race, Bobby Terrell comes home with the win after some contact on the front stretch, just running a little bit too high in the middle of the tri-oval, and Matt wasn't ready for it.
All right, so yeah, I believe you saw there, as Harrison also recapped, and I thought we had more audio to that video, not sure, but tell you what, looking at the rest of the finishing order here, you'll look at second place with CJ LeVere, as he was able to sneak by Matt Lacrosse. Josh Cheney comes home fourth with Brian Harvey, rounding out the top 5 after starting from the 3rd position. He's going to fall back 2 spots from where he started, now 6th through 10th.
Steven Almindo came home in the 6th position. He struggled a good portion of that race, but came home with a good finish. Doug Fleming in 7th, Glenn Campbell in 8th, Doug Roth in 9th, and Bobby Wetzel brings it home the back end of the top 10.
Yeah, we look a few more guys that I want to make note of right now. Bobby Terrell, who it was Bobby Wetzel that we heard, but Bobby Terrell, or yeah, no, it was not Bobby Terrell. I don't know what I'm talking about. Rhett McBride, David Lanza, they make contact lap 18. Or I know David Lanza gets involved. It was also the number 19 machine, and I don't quite know who was in the 19, but it was McBride and the 19 machine make contact. David Lanza gets involved. Huge wreck. That was another storyline, and we do have a replay of that as well. I believe Laura is about to play that for you right about now.
Dodge the wreck. Dave Lanza could not dodge the wreck. He ends up getting into the other car, and then it's on from there.
Yeah, what we saw from the 15 of Rhett McBride right there is just he was trying to make a pass on the flatter portion of the racetrack, all the way in the bottom groove. Just lost the nose and slid up, and as he went around, other cars piled in. We had just mentioned the 42 of Jimmy Jones was not having the race of his life, probably was getting trained, was in a couple of very tight spots, and right there, he was in a very bad spot as he went end over end. The wreck broke out in front of him, and as he tried to slow down to avoid the wreck, I believe he locked the tires. It made him push up into the outside wall, and as he came back down, he was ran over by Jimmy North, as you had just mentioned, and his race is effectively over.
And see David Lanza, he's going to go home, or he's going to end up finishing 22nd. You see Rhett McBride 25th. I mean, that was just pretty big hit for both of those drivers. And I'm looking for the 19 who was also involved in that incident. That was Bobby Wetzel, and he comes home in the 10th position after starting 17th, makes up 7 spots. Even though he was involved in the incident, didn't really hurt him a whole lot. But we look at the standings coming in to Bristol Motor Speedway. It's Stefan Marinac leading the way, but he only has a 12-point lead. It's been a while since I've been here, but that lead was quite a bit larger than it currently is. There is no chase in the series, so I think Bobby Terrell knew it was time to go. CJ LeVere knew it was time to go. LeVere's 48 points back, but he's trying to close the gap. But again, Terrell only 12 points behind. Matt Lacrosse sits full. T74 back with Brian Harvey rounding out the top 5, 184 points behind the point leader Stefan Marinac.
And for 6th through 10th, all the drivers are pretty close in the standings, and John Abbott is currently 7th, right behind Brett McBride, about 8 points behind, or 13 points behind Rhett McBride. Glenn Campbell's in 8th. Clint Monahan is 9th in the standings. I don't believe he's here tonight, and Douglas Wyatt rounds out the top 10.
And standings have shaken up a little bit. It's really tight. Once you look back past the top 5 or 5th place on back, they're pretty close. I mean, you look at this, it's just 8 points from Harvey to McBride. Then you just go back about about 13 points back to John Abbott from McBride. Clint Campbell's only 20 points behind Abbott. Monahan's he's not much further back. He's only like 14 behind the next guy. So I mean, there's a little bit of separation, but it's a bad race here, and somebody else having a decent race. That's all that is, that they can make that up. So these guys just have to run for everything they can to make up as many spots as they can. You saw Stefan Marinac; he's fallen quite a few points compared to the point lead he had. But we don't know what will happen. We're gonna go ahead and go down now trackside for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Back live at Bristol Motor Speedway, getting set to get started here with 200 laps with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Salt Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. Derek Spear Designs giving away button boxes at the end of the season in partnership with the Inside Sim Racing, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Cars now beginning to get on the grid, and I'll tell you what, Matt Lacrosse, he's hanging on strong. He's trying to, I would say, get a better finish or make up for what he lost last week, because he's going to roll off on the pole, looks like, in his number 21 machine very, very quick. And how about, I believe that is Aaron Truscott going to roll off on the 86 machine in second.
Behind them in row number 2 is last week's second place finisher C.J. LeVere and Bo McGuire to his outside.
How about Stefan Marinac, points leader by 12 points. He's going to roll off in his number 24 machine in fifth, with Josh Cheney in the 11, rolling off sixth.
In seventh, we've got Mark Bratcher making an appearance, not usually a regular, and John Abbott to his outside in eighth.
How about Glenn Campbell rolling off ninth in his number 44 machine, with David Lanza in the 33 rolling off 10th. They make up row number 5.
Brian Harvey, top 5 man in points, rolling off 11th, and to his outside is Jimmy Jones in 12th.
Rhett McBride going to roll off 13th in his number 15 machine, with a 77 of J. Randall Watkins rolling off 14th.
In 15th, we've got the 85 of Nathan Bowers, and alongside of him is John Ellers.
Barry Hines going to roll off 17th in the 57 machine, with Douglas Wyatt rolling off 18th in his 12 machine. They make up row number 9.
Row number 10 has Eric Arnold in the 47 to the inside, and Augusto Gabaldoni to his outside in 20th.
How about the 71 of Keith Brooks Jr. rolling off 21st, with Doug Roth in the 43 rolling off 22nd.
From 23rd will be John Wilco in his number 62 Chevrolet, and to his outside, Frank Coons in the 48.
Making up position number 25 and 26 on the grid, the 7 of Bobby Terrell, who won last week, in the 28 of Doug Fleming. Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. will round out the field in 27th. So we'll have 27 drivers that are able to start the race. This should be interesting. We know Bristol usually has a few cautions, to say the least, but hopefully that's not the case here tonight as we get set for a lot of racing here.
Yeah, 200 laps at Bristol, and it should be interesting because this isn't the Bristol of yesteryear. It's very high groove oriented. All the cars will be trying to stay high. This setup for the Nationwide car is fairly tight, but track position being so important, you will see strategy coming into play in a very big way. You can pass on the bottom, but it is difficult. So the people who are coming through the field from the back passing low are going to be people to look out for.
And I'll tell you what, I think we saw last time we were here, maybe it was maybe it might have been the Full Throttle Cup Series, or it was these cars. I can't quite remember which one it was, but I know the guy that won the race came from the very rear of the field, and he had the car down. I mean, he could get right next to the wall, way closer than anybody else. He was able to carry so much more speed to the corner and save his stuff. And that's what got him to victory, and I believe that's what you got to watch out for here tonight. How about the 21? Very fast last week, very fast again this week. Hardy put himself in a position to win, because if you're up front of Bristol, you're looking good as we get set to take the green flag. Pace car's off, and now Matt Lacrosse is about to lead us to the green flag. He's away, green flag flies, and Lacrosse will take us to start lap number 1.
Matt Lacrosse already with the lead. CJ LeVere has gotten his way into second place, and he will immediately go to the high side. Matt Lacrosse, 74 points out of the lead, but I tell you what, that is not an insurmountable lead. Matt Lacrosse, as we saw last week, you can make up 30 points easily in a race, so he's not out by any means with 12 points left, and he gets out to an immediate lead in front of CJ LeVere.
Especially here, you just don't want to hit the wall. He got really close. I know I said getting close is good. You want to get close to that wall, but you don't want to hit it, and that's what he just about did. But I think you'll see a lot of caution flies at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll see where the incident is, and I have a feeling I've found it, because we have a car turned around. The 38 of Mark Bratcher, position number 7, lap 3, and I mean I couldn't even tell you where he was going. or which turn we're in here. Is they're all yeah, it's off 4. No, we're watching going into. Oh wait, I'm in. Whoa, having some issues here with my telemetry, but watching for the 38 machine. He just comes off the corner. He's gonna get wicked sideways, makes contact with the car on the outside, and nails the inside wall. Comes back up the track, collects a lot of cars, and he'll get turned around, stopped in the middle of the racetrack, heading into turn number 1. Cars have to go high, low, and there's one car that manages to slow down, and the rest go by at a pretty quick pace there.
Yeah, what happened to Bratcher there is when you come out of turn 4, the car above him is up against the safer barrier, and the safer barrier goes away, and then you have the extra room, but he just did not move up the... I guess Mark Bratcher really just thought that the car above him would be a little bit higher on the track at that point. So Bratcher spins to the inside. When he comes back onto the track, collects 3 cars. John Ellers is involved in the 09, Eric Arnold in the 47, and I believe that's Jay Randall Watkins in the 77, all sustaining a pretty decent amount of damage in this.
And you can see how hard it is to run here. At Bristol, you see the Augusto Gabaldoni machine currently sitting in the, I do believe, last place, 23rd position. He might actually be around Bratcher now. He's got 4 spots on the rest of the field here, but he's going to be the first or the last car on the lead lap right now, right for the leaders, and he is stuck behind the pace car nearly a lot down. That's how quick they get run down here, and I think it's going to get faster if we get a longer green flag run. Only 5 laps in, though, and the caution has come out. Lap 6 now for the leaders.
Yeah, the cars coming down pit road are mostly all damaged. Pretty much everyone stayed out. Some of these guys lost laps due to the wreck. There were actually multiple cars piling into the inside. Augusto is one of those guys who came in a little bit hot and sustained a little bit of damage when a car rolling from the outside of the track came down into him, and Augusto then careened off into somebody to the inside. So there were a good 6 or 7 cars that sustained damage in this. When one car gets turned around on the front straightaway, hits the inside wall, comes back, it is hard to avoid. It can be a mess here at Bristol.
It is. I mean, it's such a small track too. I mean, it looks maybe a little wider from the TV cameras and this and that and something else. But you get in the race car, it's kind of like Daytona. The track looks wider, but when you get on the racetrack and in the cars, you're a lot closer to the other guys. It seems like, or you have a lot less room. And some of it's some of the guys just don't realize how much room they have. And that can hurt them. Like, Bratcher right there, maybe thought he had more room than he actually had, or, was hoping he would have more room. You can't really anticipate what guys are going to do here, especially here, because you generally are wrong.
Yeah, when you're on that outside, it's very easy to kind of misjudge where the wall is. You want to stay as high as you can, but the wall comes fast. So a lot of times when someone just tries to keep off of it a little bit, it's just easy to come down the track a little bit. So Mark Bratcher was thinking that he would have had more room there, but that's just one of those deals. And I think out of all the cautions that we're due to have tonight, many will be just like that, running out of room, exiting the corner with the car on the high side and someone trying to pass low as we come to the restart.
Here we go. Pace car's off. Lacrosse takes the green flag. He's away. He jumps to the outside, and he now leads. CJ LeVere heading into turn number 1. LeVere not letting him go quite as easily this time. Marinac a little sideways off the corner, not much, as the 50 of Bo McGuire looks to make the pass. I can't see who he's trying to pass, but I do see he is underneath somebody, and he's going to make it stick there, it looks like, as he actually gets around the 86 car, and I believe that is Aaron Truscott.
Yeah, Aaron Truscott fading a little bit early on in the going. 3 of the top 4 in points are actually running 1, 2, 3 on the track, with Matt Lacrosse picking up right where he left off last week with that dominating performance at Kentucky, starting this race off correctly, as he wants to lead all the laps that he can, make up all the points that he can. But I tell you, CJ LeVere looks like he has a pretty fast car in the early going. The tires will fall off, and it'll be interesting to see who's good on the long run, but right now, CJ looks good.
Yeah, right now you see actually LeVere looks like he's running down Lacrosse. Lacrosse might have just got the wall a little bit. I'm not sure. That was really close. It almost looked like it, but the 4 car, he's coming pretty quickly here, and that's what you got to watch out for. Is who's getting through the corner better right now, and who's kind of got like a more of an arc. It seems like Lacrosse looked like he had it for a lap or two. Now they look almost even with their line to the corner. But I mean, you got to really save your stuff right now, because if you use it now, you won't have it later. And I think that's going to be the big thing about tonight, because we saw it before, maybe a season ago, and it really comes to play here at Bristol.
Yeah, it's very easy to burn up the right front tire in this Nationwide car when it's tight. And at Bristol, it is pretty tight. You'll see guys filling it up with gas and getting two tires very often in this race. Look, as we see Lacrosse in the 21 getting into the wall again, the wall here can be a double-edged sword, I guess you could say. Sometimes it can help you, and if you hit it just right, it'll help your car yaw out a little bit, get you a little bit looser, rotate, and come down the track. There's a very slow lap car coming up right in front of him. I'm sure he's not too happy with that, but he gets by without incident, as we see a car slow on the bottom. But the wall also, if you hit the wall wrong, it can break your car quickly and make you tighter than you ever imagined. So with all the grip very high at this track, it is a tight line to walk.
Yeah, that it is, and you got to be really careful. You know, play it safe, don't hit a wall. But I tell you what, that really slow lap car that they came up on was Augusto Gabaldoni. He goes down a lap after having been waved around the field there by virtue of staying out. And then you had Frank Coons in the 48 machine. He was down low on the apron, and it looks like he lost the lap as well. Maybe he has some problems on that 48 machine, not quite sure. As he's only one lap down, but he scored in the 22nd position. Lacrosse able to capitalize, though, and LeVere had to enter low going into the next corner after he got around that lap car, and that really hurt him, cost him some time, and allowed Lacrosse to make up some of the times that he lost. How about Marinac, though, has kind of caught Lacrosse, or has caught LeVere, and is working on catching Lacrosse right now.
Yeah, Marinac. We've got a side-by-side battle at the back end of the top 15. Oh, contact is made. 43 and 47 of Doug Roth and Eric Arnold, I believe, are to the inside. I don't see if the caution flag is out. No caution, I believe. We stayed green. They were just far enough out of the way. They did not pull the flag, as far as I can tell. But just as we went to that battle, Doug Roth and Eric Arnold made contact out of turn 4, very similar to what happened with Mark Bratcher. You run out of room, a lot of times the guy on the high side will come down just a little bit and just trying to exit the corner and not get into the wall. And the car on the bottom needs all the room that he can get to get that good run off and try to complete the pass. And those two made contact, and Eric Arnold is on pit road at the moment. Doug Roth is on the track and avoided going down pit road, but certainly lost a lot of valuable track position with that. They were running about 14th in a 27-car field here.
Here you can lose probably 3 laps just on pit road right here, just getting 4 tires, or maybe just 2. But you can lose quite a bit of time just getting tires here. Now, just think about it like this. Eric Arnold could not find his box. He went down the wrong pit lane. There are 2 pit lanes here. Basically, he went down the wrong one, had to drive all the way through at speed limit, which is very slow here. And then he had to keep going and then go around and go halfway through another pit lane before he could get to a stall. I believe, however, he has pulled it behind the wall and into the garage. He is done for the night.
Tough break for Eric Arnold. We had 1 caution in 2 different incidents, and he was in both of them, so not the race that he was looking for, as I believe we have a battle for second place on the track right now. Stefan Marinac is looking for a way around CJ LeVere, just tucks in behind him.
Right there, I think Marinac was kind of forced to get down a little lower because he was trying to get around the lap car of Augusto Gabaldoni. Once again, he shoots down the racetrack, but he was not able to complete the pass, so we had to back up, fall back in line, and, regather his thoughts, get his line back up, and, just keep trucking. He's coming. He's really quick, and looks like he's making up quite a bit of time on LeVere, and he's not really wanting to let Lacrosse go right now, as LeVere's trying to hang on right now, but you see he's got a mirror full of that 24 machine. That's not something you want, because that'll basically, you watch the 4, he'll be looking in the mirror quite a bit. That's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, Marinac wants to be as aggressive as he can right now. With the amount of points that he lost last week at Kentucky, he wants to be aggressive. He wants to build that lead back up. He's got 12 points on Terrell coming into this event. There's a bunch of lap traffic ahead of us. Get out of shape but get straight. But Marinac, with the 12-point lead on Bobby Terrell, Terrell currently showing in 10th. He wants to get every position that he can. and try to build that lead back up. You can't get too comfortable leading in the standings, and that's what Marinac is trying to avoid.
I'll tell you what, the 21 of Matt Lacrosse having a heck of a time working through traffic. He tries to get low on Frank Coons. Coons trying to get low to get out of the way. He has to shoot back up the racetrack, going to cost him a little bit of time. Then he has to get around the 62 of John Wilco. Cost him some time. Has brought the 4 and the 24 right to his bumper.
Yeah, lap traffic will play havoc with you here as a leader of the race. It'll get you very frustrated. You're just hoping that all the guys give you room, but you get lapped so fast here that people who are going a lap down, or especially as we get deeper into this race, will be running in decent positions and often racing other cars. So they'll usually race the leaders pretty hard here as CJ Lavera gets underneath another lap car, the 09, but that has brought CJ Lavera and Marinac pretty close to Lacrosse. It's hard to tell who of the three of the top three has the fastest car. They're all kind of under a blanket, but lap traffic can and will play a big factor in this race.
Well, 36 laps complete at Bristol Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and take you down the top 10 rundown presented by Inside Sim Racing. Matt Lacrosse, currently your race leader in the 21 machine. How about CJ Lavere sitting second in his 4 car? Points leader Stefan Marinac sitting in third in the 24 machine, with Bo McGuire in the 50 car sitting fourth. Aaron Truscott, he started second. He fell back to fifth pretty quickly, but is kind of hanging around in the fifth position. He's all right. Glenn Campbell sits sixth in the 44 machine, with Josh Cheney sitting seventh. John Abbott sits 8th. David Lanza 9th in the 33 machine, trying to capitalize on a bad week last week. And Bobby Terrell, your winner of last week's event at Kentucky, is currently sitting in the 10th position in the 7 machine. Just kind of riding around. And again, all of that brought to you by Inside Sim Racing. And I'll tell you what, sponsoring the Thursday Night Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for all news and reviews in online motorsports. Join Darren Gantry and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation auto racing games for PCs and the Xbox crowd, from steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing. Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at isrtv.com. I'll tell you what, that's a mouthful there, Harrison.
Absolutely, and as that was going on, Bo McGuire just got into it with a lapped car. It was the 09 of, let me check, the 09 of John Ellers just had went a lap down. Bo McGuire, as we have caution on the speedway, Bo actually got into the lap car, hit the inside wall, and went to pit road, and I'm not sure what the caution is out for right this second.
11 car, Josh Cheney, position 7. That 11 car, he looks like, and is my rewind button kind of going crazy there, but trying to figure out what happened. He's racing around with David Lanza. I see a lot of checking up. I see a lot of moving around. The 50 car slow on the inside. He comes off of another corner. He's all right. So he's working. I'm looking at lap 40 here. They come up on Augusto Gabaldoni. It looks like the cars in front of him get by, and he comes up and tags Augusto Gabaldoni coming off of the corner, and that's going to put the 11 car around into the inside wall. Josh Cheney going for a ride. It takes a second to get spun around. Has to be really easy. Does not want to jump in the way of traffic, but does want to get going as quick as he can. He's going to miss the cone barely, and then Bo McGuire going to come out of pit road just behind him.
I'll tell you, Josh Cheney was a part of a very heated battle that just sorted out. He was racing very hard with Glenn Campbell. Campbell restarted, I believe, 9th and drove up to 6th and actually burned up his tires, I believe. He was very tight. And then it was a 4-car battle between Abbott and Lanza, Cheney, and Campbell. And once that got sorted out, they came up on more lap traffic. And when he got to Gabaldoni, it was another case where he just expected the 666 car to be up against the fence, or a lot closer to the fence than he was. So a good rule of thumb at this track is maybe you got to give more room than you think you should. And he just hurt his car for sure, just running a little bit too close with lap traffic.
You know, we saw right before the caution had come out, only 14 cars were on the lead lap, I believe. Looks like a few might stay out here to get the laps back. I'm not sure, but it's showing a few of them with their lap back. Most recently, it'll put Josh Cheney, the last car, on the lead lap, I do believe, in his 11 machine.
Yeah, currently got about 21 cars running, and with this track being so important for track position, The wave around is a good move to make, as we saw a lot of lap traffic. They're just going to be hoping to catch another caution, get fresh rubber, and see what they could do. But certainly a lot of attrition early on. We're almost a quarter of the way through the race already. I believe this is the second caution. And a lot of guys actually coming down pit road this time, I do believe.
Well, while we pace here at Bristol Motor Speedway, we're going to go ahead and step away, take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with green flag racing action here with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
And we are back live at Bristol Motor Speedway with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. We went green flag racing, and we're back under the caution flag for an incident involving the 50 car, Bo McGuire, and the 11 of Josh Cheney. That's going to be a second caution for Josh Cheney. The 50 car squeezing up the racetrack, trying to get more room, and it's not there. He's going to make contact with the 11, gets spun around, and gets stuck in the outside wall, goes for a ride, and ends up pulling the car behind the wall. He is now done for the night.
Yeah, Bo McGuire was having a solid run that it all just unraveled. We saw him running top 5 for a long time until he tangled with the 09 of Ehlers, and ironically, they were right behind Ehlers when that wreck broke out. Josh Cheney was a little bit off the wall, just like we've seen these previous wrecks, and the 50 of Bo McGuire was looking for more room, and it just was not there. And he parks his car after the fact and has too much damage to continue. So it was a good night gone bad very quickly for the 50, as he went from top 5 to 16th to out of the race in a matter of a minute and a half or so.
And I'll tell you what, Wave Around goes to Keith Brooks Jr. That's our Derek Spear Designs Wave Around, sponsoring in part with Inside Sim Racing TV, the RSR Asphalt Assault Series on Thursday nights. Derek Spear Designs manufactures top-shelf simulation racing components such as pedal shifters, button boxes, and more. Reasonably priced. This is the kind of gear a championship sim race driver needs. Bulletproof and boot-stopping strong CS gear at DerekSpearDesigns.com. Keith Brooks Jr. 71 machine, I do believe, as he is now going to be scored. And I do want to say the 15th position, last car on the lead lap. So now we get set to get the green flag here, maybe just another lap, or just a lap away here as they come off of turn number 4. You should see the field double file up here. and it should be Lacrosse with the inside lane if he chooses so, and it looks like here they go. So we're going to be going green this time by. You see the field getting double file here. Lights on the pace car are off, I do believe, and that means it's time. So just a moment, we'll see if we can stay green this time or if we get another quick caution.
Yeah, Matt Lacrosse led the most laps last week, and he's doing the same this week, and so far I do believe he might have led every lap, and he's looking to continue that. With the inside lane, the leader has a big advantage with dictating where the restart begins. A little different from NASCAR. The box that you can leave is a lot smaller as Matt Lacrosse goes and gets an easy advantage and moves to the high side, entering turn number 1.
Yeah, there's that advantage you talk about. Now the 24 is trying to get underneath the 4. He's not going to have any of it. 4's going to hang on to the second place position. Lacrosse runs away, puts a pretty good gap between himself and the 4. There was a slow car on the inside, way on the apron. I didn't catch who it was. Don't know what happened, but they were out of the way. Did not cause a problem there, it looks like. As Marinak trying to run back down the 4. These guys, I don't think have pitted yet, so they might be on some slick tires here.
Yeah, and I think with this car, usually you just lose a lot of lateral grip. They're probably fighting a very tight condition. One of the guys that I find interesting right now is the 33 of David Lanza, and I believe the Tax Slayer car, or Tax Slayer scheme. And he had come through the field, and he seemed to be good on older tires, and he passed a bunch of cars and finds himself running 5th. I do believe he qualified outside the top 10, or actually he qualified 10th. So far able to make some passes. Not everyone has been making passes that easy, but Lanza right now, I don't think he's quite fast enough to keep up with the leaders. Lacrosse seems to have done very well in the heat-cycled tires and has jumped out to a nice lead right from the start, about 0.7 of a second.
And I'll tell you what, I think this is one of Lanza's favorite racetracks. You know, he's really good in the short tracks. He's had a lot of, good races this season. He's missed a lot, though. And it was some races where he even had, he had to have subs, and I think he went over his limit with subs, and actually won one race with a sub that the sub was disqualified, failed post-race inspection, as he actually wasn't even supposed to be in the race car that weekend. But Lanza, I mean, that big points hit. I mean, that's really all that is. He just out here to run the races now, it looks like, and he's doing just that as he leads the 44 of Glenn Campbell, who I do believe is his teammate. How about right in front of him in 4th position, the 86 of Aaron Truscott. Truscott started 2nd, fell back to 5th, picks up a spot when I do believe Bo McGuire crashed out earlier, and he's just been kind of riding around in his number 86 machine. I don't think he's got much for the leaders, but I don't think we can count him out yet.
Yeah, early on I thought that he was going to fade deep into the field the way it looked, but he might have been just playing a little bit conservative, just being a little bit cautious, which you kind of want to do here at Bristol. It's very easy to put yourself in a bad spot. It can go from a great run to being out of the race in a matter of seconds, and Aaron seems to have fallen into a rhythm, and right now, as CJ Levere in the 4 and Marinak in the 24 are battling side by side, he's able to close in on them, and this might become a 3-way battle for 2nd place momentarily.
Right now, he's got the preferred groove. If Marinak cannot get off the corner the way he needs to one of these two or three times, then Truscott could slip to his outside. That could cost Marinak a lot, as I guarantee you he would fall back the spot. As it looks like the 24 just falls back in line. He's just going to hang on. The 86 at a higher corner entry, just about 2 or 3 laps to go, and he made up a lot of time. He's not. I think they've kind of moved their line back up a little bit, but the 86 may have moved down a little bit as well, trying to mock them, and it's kind of slowed him down. As you see it right there, it looks like he gets a little higher in the corner, makes up a little bit more time. I do want to say that Truscott's not too bad here. I think he was just kind of riding around, like you said earlier, maybe learning a thing or two, just following these guys.
Yeah, and Matt Lacrosse is enjoying this battle more than anybody right now because he has really pulled out to a lead. When 2 cars go side by side, even though the primary or the preferential groove that you want to be in is right up against the wall, when you are in a side by side battle, you can't quite arc it back down on exit like you want to, and because of that, you lose speed. So CJ Levere is under attack by Marinak once again. Just Marinak, probably the faster car at this point, not able to make the passes. The 86 is right on the bumper of the 24, trying to make something happen. Marinak clears CJ for 2nd place, and Lanza has joined the battle as well.
Yeah, the 4 struggled big time. I don't know what's happened to the 4, but he was losing a lot of times. The 86 of the 4 made contact. 4 is almost around, saves it, checks up the 86 big time. They're going to lose 2 or 3 spots there. Lanza goes around. I believe Campbell went around, and maybe even Terrell. I can't quite tell if Terrell got around or not, but they were all checking. No, there was no Terrell getting around, but they were all kind of checking up for the 43, as well as the 24 just had gotten past the 4, and that's going to put the 4 back quite a few positions back to 5th.
Yeah, running the bottom, sometimes you get very, very, very tight, and that's what happened to CJ. Aaron Truscott just was not anticipating it, clearly did not mean to make the contact, and did the classy thing and let him gather it back up, and I believe apologized to him almost immediately over his radios. But CJ, what a great save that was. That was a great job of driving. No contact with any wall, I do believe. He was just sideways the whole length of the straightaway and got it gathered back up. Certainly Lanza capitalized, and Glenn Campbell capitalizes. They are now running 3rd and 4th. CJ was able to recover and is currently in 5th, and Truscott showing in 6th right behind him.
To go around the, I believe that is a lap car there of Augusto Gabaldoni once again, not quite sure. And Bobby Terrell just behind them. Terrell up to the 7th position in the 7 car. He was 10th earlier, if you do remember. He's kind of climbed a few spots up after starting from 25th. How about this? 25th to 7th for Bobby Terrell, last week's winner.
That's incredible. I didn't realize Terrell actually qualified that far back. I wasn't paying close enough attention, but I saw him running 10th, thought maybe he's just having a little bit of an average run. But clearly he's got speed as he's chasing down CJ and Truscott as we speak. Terrell looking to make something happen, currently 12 points behind the leader. And the leader is running about 4 positions ahead of him, but Terrell might have something to say before the race is over. We still have 125 laps to go.
Terrell did not lay down a lap in qualifying. He may have had an incident or something that could have prevented it, but that's why he started from the rear. You see him running down the 86 and the 4. The 86 had just been underneath the 4. That was costing them some time. But the 86 not able to clear the 4. I think the 86 might even be faster than the 4. The 4 is struggling. He may need new tires. I don't know. And here's what you got to watch also. If you look up front, Lacrosse has a 3.9 second lead. Does he back up his corners right now? It's actually 4.1 now as he's working through lap traffic, I think. Does he back up his corners, or does he run as hard as he possibly can right now and try to get away? As I believe Marinak may have a lot of company from David Lanza. He does. As Lanza's now onto the inside. Lanza had started from the 10th position, had been working his way through the field. He's now up to the 2nd position and running towards the front.
David Lanza with a great run so far. Qualified 10th up to 2nd, gets by Marinak. He seems to be very good on old tires. Last run, I thought Glenn Campbell might be struggling on the older tires, but I tell you, maybe he just needed a heat cycle to cool down the right front some, changed his line a little bit. And Glenn Campbell right now working on the 24 of Marinak and is looking just as strong as his teammate, David Lanza, as Marinak backs out wisely, gives him the spot, says, let's see what you could do with it. I don't want to lose more time than I have to, so I'll tuck back here in line behind you.
Yeah, and the 44, he's been following his teammate. They also have radio. These guys can talk to each other privately, their teammates. They have several ways they can do it. And I'm sure that they've been, kind of exchanging notes back and forth, or saying what they're doing back and forth. That's something that drivers will do to try to help teammates out as the Lanza goes around the Augusto Gabaldoni machine once again. Gabaldoni, he's struggling here. I mean, he started, I want to say, towards the back. He's now 10 laps down. He started 20th, and this is still under green flag conditions. So I don't know what's happened to Gabaldoni, but he's a way off the pace, and he's just staying low and out of the way, it looks like.
Yeah, he qualified about half a second off of the leaders, and I think what happened was he just, when you hit in the perfect storm and someone gets into your wheels, it'll mess up the rear end, it'll mess up the front suspension, and it'll make your car not turn at all. So I think he's probably doing the wise thing right now and going extremely conservative. If he pushes much harder, I'm sure it's very, very tight is what it looks like. So he's trying to stay out of trouble. And luckily at this track, when you are a lap car that's giving way, you can run pretty much right on the bottom and people will love you for it. And it will be easy to stay out of the way that way, which is a little bit different than how Bristol used to be, where the primary groove is low and people sweep out wide. And so you could be a little more out of the way now, and that's what Augusto is doing.
Hey, he's doing a pretty good job. If you remember, he goes down. He was the very first caution that we had on about lap 5. I remember us talking about him. He was right in front of the leaders, almost a lap down. So he received this contact. If he received it very, very early in the going here.
Yeah, as David Lanza tries to track down Matt Lacrosse, I'd like to see. Last lap he was running 16:20s, and Matt Lacrosse in the lead seems to be off that pace significantly. Right now working through heavy lap traffic, which is a big factor. Once he gets clear of this traffic, it'll be interesting to see if David is able to chase him down. Right now, I believe he's gained almost 2 seconds through the lap traffic. David having much less problems with it. And it'll be interesting to see just how good as another 310's right there to the 33's benefit.
Well, I'll tell you what, he is now 1.9 seconds in front of the third place car. That's his teammate. They were right behind him. So he has driven away as soon as he got clean air as Augusto Gabaldoni makes contact, I believe, with a slow car on the racetrack. I believe that might have been Barry Hines. Not sure what happened there, but I mean, Lanza is coming. He's running away from the guys behind him, his teammate even, and I mean, he is working through lap traffic, really heavy lap traffic as he now goes around the 15. McBride gives way, and that's a guy that, you know, fell in trouble early last race, or I do want to say maybe 30 laps in or 18 laps in, he was in trouble. That ended his day, I want to say, but you know, McBride having maybe another rough day here as he runs in 13th, 1 lap down, just kind of riding around, I guess. But Lanza coming 1.7 seconds back now. He's working lap traffic, and I think he's still making time.
Yeah, he's showing just how beneficial it is to save that right front tire here. It's a very tight race car, and Lanza right now seems to be hanging around 1630s and 40s. As you see from his windshield, he can see the 21 car getting bigger and bigger. And he is coming for that lead and has done a good job to save his tires. I'm not sure if he pit earlier in this race, but I tell you that when the tires wear, they tend to plateau at a certain time. And so I do believe there's not much of an advantage if he did pit early on. He simply is just working that right front a little bit better right now.
Yeah, as you see, he is still riding around behind. I want to say that's now the 12 car in front of him. Yeah, it's the 12 with Douglas Wyatt, and he is the leader. Has 2 lap cars between the two, the first and second place cars. Is Lanza again making this gap smaller now, down to 1.240 seconds. He's coming, and he's coming in a hurry. We now come around to complete lap 98, I want to say. As soon as they get off of turn number 4. Or this will be 97, I want to say, but you know, excellent race so far. 2 cautions, or 3 cautions. We're just about 100 laps out of the way here.
Yeah, while it is a tight racetrack, there is room to race. So I thought that once we got a couple of the cautions out of the way, it might bring about some good green flag racing. And right now, only 9 cars on the lead lap. I believe we've got about 18 currently on the track. But with 9 on the lead lap, it's very easy to go a lap down here. They're running laps in the mid-16s right now. Matt Lacrosse seems to be running about 1650s on average, and Lanza, when he hits it right, is more like a 1635, 1640. Last lap of 47. So it's a nice race up front. Clearly, the class of the field at the very moment is the 21 and the 33, and surely Matt sees that Texler car behind him coming and wants to get going as quickly as possible.
Well, there's another thing you gotta look at. Maybe the 21 started backing up his corners, as you see he loses about another 10th there. Maybe, I don't know whether that was due to him working around the 43 or not, but I don't think so. The 21 could have been saving his stuff, maybe backing up the corner and let the 33 run him down, but it doesn't look that way, because right about now you would think you'd want to be driving away from the guy behind you, but it looks like he's letting him catch him here as he makes up about another maybe 10th or so.
Yeah, I would say when you're the leader and you want to back down, you try not to give up too much, because when someone gets you really in sight, as close as Lanza is right now, gives them a little bit extra motivation. Maybe they'll get that extra half a 10th, extra couple of hundreds that they need. So the leader doesn't want to give up as much as Lacrosse did, and lap traffic was certainly a factor. He got stuck in some very bad lap traffic, but Lanza right now just seems to be cutting into the entry to the center a lot better than the 21 car. The 21's trying to get all the grip high, but it just doesn't seem to be there for him right now, as this should be a lead battle within 5 laps. His lap car actually slows up, gets into the wall right in front of Lacrosse.
That was probably terrifying. That was the 85 and Nathan Bowers, 13th position. He goes down 2 laps, and that means everybody from 13th on back, 2 laps down or more. They're actually approaching the rear of the field again, or approaching 9th position, 8th position, 7th position, and 6th position are all pretty much right there together, and at even 5th position. So I mean, they're coming pretty quickly on those guys. But Nathan Bowers gets loose, gets the outside wall, slows up Lacrosse, and probably scared Lacrosse and Lanza. But up front, we have a battle for the lead. Lanza has caught Lacrosse, and he is right there to the bumper.
Yeah, Nathan did a good job of keeping it in the wall. I know it's natural to try to keep it out of it, and he knew the leaders were on him, and he did not want to mess up their race. So he did a good job keeping it to the right. Lanza right now is just hounding Matt for the lead. Somewhat reminiscent of Kentucky when Terrell caught Lacrosse at the end. But right now there is still 93 to go, coming to 92 to go this time. And certainly, I think Matt Lacrosse will not race him too hard. He was clearly much faster, and sometimes the better thing to do isn't to not put yourself in a bad position. But since it is hard to pass here, he will give him a run.
Yeah, he's not giving up this race lead. We heard from Laura Lawson, our camera operator here tonight, and I'll tell you what, Lacrosse hanging on strong. I wasn't here last week. I didn't get to hear reactions. I didn't get to hear what happened after the race. I didn't get to see the event or see the wreck live. I just saw the replay. I mean, what do you think, or how is the 21 going to play when it comes to battle for the lead at the end of the race here? Is he going to be a little more aggressive maybe this week?
Yeah, or maybe even a little more aware, or it depends on the situation. But last week, I think Lacrosse took it very, very well, because it's easy to be mad when someone makes contact with you, and Lacrosse took it well, understood it wasn't intentional, and they seem to have an understanding after the race when they spoke. But Lacrosse certainly probably feels like he let one slip away last week. It was strategy, and then the contact, and he's trying his hardest to keep the lead right now, and he is definitely not giving up. I thought maybe that he would let things go, but I tell you what, he earned that lead. He wants to keep it, and track position is so important here that even though there are about 87, 88 to go right now, these laps tick away fast, and any track position is good track position. And Dave Lanza's gonna have to really, really try to pull this off. He'll probably have to run pretty high in the center, cut down underneath him.
And I'll tell you what, one of the last times that I remember Lacrosse winning was Darlington. And I mean, it was a very aggressive race. It was very rough. It was Darlington, and that's how Darlington is. I know I haven't covered a lot of races since then. Had a lot going on, but the 21, Matt Lacrosse, really cool guy. You know, glad that he was able to get that win, and it was really fun to bring him up in the broadcast booth before the final lap or so, and ask him if he was going to win. And he just kind of straight out said yes. He then drove from, I believe, 3rd to 1st, able to get away with the win possibly. He did win at Darlington, and now he's trying to do it again at Bristol.
As far as Darlington, it's actually interesting when you compare how they attack the corners here at Bristol. It's a similar driving style. You're right up against the wall, you're rolling that entry, you're pushing up right to the wall in the center and bringing it back. So maybe being good at Darlington is advantageous to being good at Bristol. Right now it's working out for Matt Lacrosse.
I'll tell you what, and also Marinac was really strong at Darlington, I want to say as well. But here is Lanza to the inside, door to door, heading down into turn number 1. Lanza hanging on strong, and he's not going to give up here. As they're actually approaching a lot more lap cars. 38, or that's the 09, going to get down way out of the way, gives them plenty of room. Lacrosse using the outside to all he has, and he's going to get around. He's going to maybe have a head of steam heading into the corner. Looks like he was going to clear the 33, but the 33 hanging on. Gets a huge run off of the corner. They go around another lap car, and the 21 leads the 33. 33 falls back in line behind the 21 machine as caution flies on lap 120 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Huge crash. Somebody stuck on the outside wall there. I couldn't see who that was, but it looked a lot like Frank Coon's 48 machine. 21st position.
Yeah, the wreck just broke out of turn 4. Frank Coons was racing. Actually, Frank Coons was a few laps down. Doug Fleming, who was running in 11th, caught the wall out of turn 4 and came right down into Frank. Frank was a victim here and pretty much destroyed his car, and Fleming gets away relatively unscathed aside from whatever damage he accrued when he got the wall off of turn 4. So basically a one-car accident, Matt Lacrosse's his heart must have stopped a little bit when he came out of 4, seeing that car sitting on the outside wall, because you just hope that they stay there and they don't try to get going when you try to go low. But just a one-car wreck, it could have been worse. So, but with this, it'll be interesting to see if anyone actually does go for 2 tires. It might loosen these guys up. So pit strategy could be interesting right here.
Yeah, it was the 28 who was the last car 1 lap down, now scored in 11th position. He has claimed the wreck, so he will receive an EOL, I do believe, before we go back green flag racing, so he'll start from the rear. Here comes the leaders down pit road, 21:33. As they get the very first, the pit lane with the start-finish line is basically the way to put it. So 33 comes into the 10th pit stall, and the 21 comes into the first. That's going to be a good advantage for that 21 as they... I do see right sides going up on the 21. Took a little bit of time there, but right sides go up, they go down. Left side's looking like they're going to go up, so it's going to be a 4-tire stop for him. And Lanza is going to get out pretty quickly here. Lanza beats Lacrosse, I do believe.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I thought someone might gamble with 2 tires. Lacrosse might have had a little bit of damage, a bit of a slow stop in the mid 15-second range, and Lanza does in fact get the lead out of that. Both of those cars took 4 tires. I believe Bobby Terrell and right now there's a couple of cars that stayed out who are on the lead lap, I do believe. I'm not sure if they're going to decide to stay out the rest of the caution or if they wanted to get a point. It looks like that Lanza will have to come from the middle of the pack here.
You know, I'm not sure that he's going to be too excited about that, but he's done it before. He started 10th and he came and was racing for the lead before that caution. The guy who really, really wanted a caution right there, I've been watching, he was close to being a lap down. He started 25th. He has now scored in the 3rd position. That's the 7th car of Bobby Terrell. I really think that you got to watch out for the 7 now that he's up front. If he can get around the 4, if he can get around the 24, I think he's a goner, but do remember that he may have to come back down pit road. I don't know what the field game is here. I don't know how far that can go, but I have a feeling that he can't go a whole lot further, depending on whether or not he pit recently or not.
I tell you what, I would much rather have new tires at this stage of the game. I think the 4 cars in front of Lanza... are putting themselves in a pretty bad spot right here. Lanza will just have to hope to keep his nose clean and get through this unscathed. But for the most part, especially with only about 9 on the lead lap, I would have come down pit road as they're off turn 4, taking the green.
Yeah, green flag's out. Marinac takes the green by the way. Douglas White was our Derek Spear Designs lucky dog that time by. Yeah, I believe it might actually be Inside Sim Race Lucky Dog. I don't know. I got it mixed up, but. We're green flag racing either way. 24 leads the 4. 4 is going to fall back. I think the 4 was struggling all the way up to the end of that run. Now he's got the tires cooled down. We'll see what happens here as the 7 tries to run him down. That is Terrell looking to maybe make up a spot if he can. And how about Lanza up to 4th already with Lacrosse right on his bumper. Lacrosse not going to leave him, not going to let him go. And maybe Lacrosse can see what the 33 was doing and mock that line. You see the 33 a lot slower getting into the corner, and that could be or the reason he was faster at the end of the run there is maybe he was saving the stuff or able to keep the tires maybe a little cooler and not eat them up going into the corner of the right front like you said. Lacrosse just throws his car in there compared to Lanza.
Yeah, and they had a very close call early on in this restart. I believe Matt Lacrosse was put into a position that he might have been 3 wide in the middle, might have made contact with someone had he not backed out. But he wisely did back out, and right now with these fresher tires, it looks like Lacrosse is much better at getting more out of it than Lanza at the moment, although this might just be strategy and him trying to save his stuff. This is a pretty tight setup that they're all running, and it's very easy to do, and right now with the track position, Lanza doesn't have to push too hard, because he should be able to hold off Lacrosse. But Marinac right now, this is working out a lot better than I expected for that 24 car, as he pulled out to a lead right now, and actually there's a caution out right in front of the leader. I believe Augusto Gabaldoni was sideways on the track, pulled it out in time to get away from the leaders, but I believe that is the reason for the caution.
Yeah, he did claim the caution, so that'll be Augusto Gabaldoni because of the caution, gets off the racetrack 15 laps down. I don't know, but he may park it further out. I'm not sure. But I'll tell you what, 24 didn't want to see that caution. He's going to race a 1.4 second lead he had, I do believe. And he'll have to do it again. That's if he does not pit this time. As you remember, he did not pit last time. You were talking about that gap, though. I don't think that gap means much, as we saw a 4-second gap was erased by David Lanza once. I think he can do it again.
And I actually think, looking at the pit stop scenarios that we just had, I do believe that Lanza and Matt Lacrosse pit a lap late. And that's what confused me. I think the pit road opened and they didn't realize it and they went by it the first time. Marinak actually pit on lap 122. So he has fresh tires and he's looking to be in a great position. I was getting kind of confused as we were watching them, and we saw Lacrosse was very fast entry into center, and he was carrying a lot of speed. But Lanza couldn't quite just do what he wanted to do right there. And I believe that might have been a mistake during that caution that I just did not pick up on quick enough.
You know, at least you know you went down pit road. I was so lost, but either way, we're pacing again at Bristol Motor Speedway. Bristol, known for cautions, known for good racing as well, known for bumping and banging, also known for the bump and run. And we've seen a little bit of everything here tonight. Look forward to seeing some more. We do have I do want to say 60, about 66 laps to go. Going to be 65 at the start-finish line, which they're coming to collect here in just about right now. No, I'm wrong. We're in the back straightaway, but we'll come off 4 and we'll have 65 laps to go. And I'll tell you what, Doug Fleming, the Inside Sim Racing Daring Spear Designs, lucky dog. Got it right that time. I know he did.
You know, I think what the 33 car of Lanza might want is this race to go green the rest of the way. He seemed very, very strong when the tires were old, and I think that's probably his best chance at a win right now. If we get into a race where we get a lot of quick cautions, which I don't believe this will be headed in that direction, but Marinak would be looking pretty good. It seems like the 4 car of CJ Levert is just a little bit off on speed, certainly able to run with these guys, and certainly if he's able to get that little extra bit of speed, he'll be able to challenge for the win. But a few of those guys capitalize on their mistake. I didn't even notice a mistake. I was watching David with like a hawk, and when they shot by pit road, I believe that it opened right as they got there, and they were just too late to realize. So a costly mistake for him and Matt Lacrosse. And the beneficiaries are the 24, the 4, and the 7. And that's pretty big because the 7 is trying to chase down Marinak, and right now he's in view.
And the ironic thing is they're still 4th and 5th. I mean, they didn't fall back too far, but track position here is key. I think we saw that last time we were here. Somebody got some track position, and it did him a lot of good. But here we go. Field is double file. We get set to take the green flag once they get off of turn number 4. Working into just about turn number 3. It's going to be the 24 taking us to the green flag. LeVere going to be starting 2nd. Terrell on the inside in 3rd. And the 33 of David Lanza, who started 10th up to 4th. He's now in front of the pole sitter, Lacrosse. And then I do believe that is the 16 of Marvin Termeyer Jr. Here we go. Green flag's out, and Marinak is the way.
Bobby Terrell got a pretty good restart. We'll see if he could clear David Lanza here in 1 and 2. And he is trying, and Lanza gets very high, and 7 gets the position. So there's an opportunity on the restart when you're on the outside there to get something. But Matt Lacrosse right now just going for that 4th position, and he gets it. And Lacrosse looks pretty fast, and he might be more aggressive getting through the traffic here. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to complete any of these passes.
Yeah, Terrell opened the door for Lacrosse there, it looked like, because Lacrosse might have got the wall. I'm not sure. Really close there again. But here he comes. He's now to the bumper of the 7 to Terrell. Terrell really opened the door on that restart, though. When the 33 got caught up by the 21, took a shot at that, dove down low, was able to make a mistake as he makes contact with the 7. Caution flies. And I don't know what that is. I hear a big wreck, though.
Yeah, it looks like the 44 Glenn Campbell's involved. John Abbott's involved. We'll have to see what happened here. Barry Hines in the 57 is around. John Wilco is slow on the track right now.
I'll tell you what, John Abbott, his involvement in the wreck, I think he was checking up and got rear-ended, but I'm not quite sure what started the whole incident. I see the 10 car going through the corner, and all of a sudden he's I do want to say he's checking up big time. Trying to figure out where exactly we are here, though. Yeah, he checks up big time and gets run over, maybe, by the 09 of John Ellers. It starts with the 44 car and the 16 of Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. was a ways up the field, maybe a little bit too far up for, or no, let's say him and the 12 and the 16 make contact to start this this ordeal.
Yeah, when you're on the high side, you have to arc it a little bit down on exit, but I would say Marvin Turnmeyer pretty much did nothing wrong there, in my opinion. You have to come, and he's very high on the track, and when you're low on somebody, you're trying to use all the track that you can to get that run off. And I think Douglas Wyatt was just a little bit too tight to approach that corner, possibly a little bit wrong. Easy for me to say from the booth right now, but the 12 gets into the 16 of Turnmeyer. Turnmeyer and these guys were running about 6th, 7th, and 8th as far as back. That was Glenn Campbell in 8th, and he sustains quite a bit of damage in this, as well as a few others, all getting turned around. So the accident starts at the 6th position, a battle on the lead lap, and quite a number of cars involved.
Definitely here, but while we're under caution, once again, we're going to go ahead and step away, take another commercial break. This will be our second commercial break of the night. We'll come back with more green flag racing action from Bristol Motor Speed with the Real Sim Racing Asphalt Solid Series, sponsored by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs.
Network. Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you could hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50-caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products, reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com. And buckle in for a no-nonsense
Green
ride.
flag is out, and Stefan Marinak gets out to...
We're back racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. The green flag is out. We're on lap 147 of 200. Just 54 to go. 53 at the start-finish line, which I believe the leaders have collected. Harrison Whitelitz. It's the laps are winding down here.
Yeah, Marinak right now with in the position that he wants to be in with LeVere right behind him. But I tell you, the 21 of Matt Lacrosse is very, very hungry to get back in that lead position, and he is right on CJ LeVere. 52 laps to go right now, and he is on these guys. So the question will be, is he able to get underneath? Bobby Tower right now in fourth just behind him, but Lacrosse certainly looks like the fastest car in the field as of right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think Lanza needs time before he comes in like he does, and I think he's running out of that time, but he does have 50 laps. Hopefully he can do it in the last 10 or 15, because that's what it might come down to if it takes him as long as it could. But I'll tell you what, they go around the slow car on the inside. Lacrosse still working on the bumper of that Ford machine of LeVere, as LeVere is sticking the bumper of Marinak very impressively here. Marinak not able to drive away like he was last time. And how about this? Only 7 cars, I believe, on the lead lap, and the last one being the 28 of Doug Fleming, and then there's David Lanza, who sits 6th.
Yeah, quite a lot of attrition in this race. In that previous wreck where we saw Glenn Campbell, a lot of guys opting to fix damage, maybe having to complete a certain amount of damage before being damage repair before being allowed back onto the track. And a few guys lost laps in that ordeal, which is why we only have 7 on the lead lap now. I believe it was Glenn Campbell and Douglas Wyatt who lost 2 laps in that ordeal. But right now, Lacrosse is charging hard and trying to do all that he can because he knows 50 laps at Bristol can go quickly, very quickly, and he wants to lead very bad. He could smell it.
Sorry about that. That was something going on wrong there. But I'll tell you what, Lacrosse wants to capitalize on the mistakes he made last week. He's got to get the finish he needs, which is up 2 spots from where he finished last week. This is the points leader leading the race. He wants to make up points on him. He wants to, not finish 3rd this week. He led so many laps last week. He was so strong last week. Hopefully he can make that up.
Yeah, the top 3 is a few different stories because the leader right now was involved in an early wreck last week and he lost a lot of points, so he's very hungry himself. And then in 2nd place, CJ Levere finished 2nd last week. He was running 3rd when the leaders tangled at the end of that race at Kentucky. He was able to capitalize and get 1 position out of it as Terrell won the race. But Lacrosse, 3 interesting stories here. They make contact in the middle of 1 and 2. Lacrosse loses quite a bit of time as he backs up. He does not want to wreck CJ. And as they get straightened back out, and Lacrosse quickly gets back to him as CJ looks for the lead underneath the 24 in 1 and 2.
Yeah, it looks like the 4 is going to make this possibly work. I do apologize if there were a lot of awkward silences. For some reason, my mic was talking through the wrong channel privately. I don't know how long it was doing that, but looks like we're still side by side as Levere has cleared the leader. And now here comes Lacrosse underneath. He's looking for the lead. He's not going to get it, but he slips up in front of Marinac for 2nd. Truscott looking to follow. And how about David Lanza? He has rejoined this group, making it a 5-way battle here for the lead, basically.
Interesting stuff because David Lanza, as these guys have battled harder and the tires have worn, he has come right back into the picture. He might be the guy that wants to see this go green all the way, but I tell you what, if Matt Lacrosse is able to clear the 4 sometime soon, he will be hard to catch. Might just be too much ground to make up. Passing 3 or 4 cars is very difficult here, and Lacrosse is looking, and a little contact again, but he is right there. And if he could just get that good run, what he wants to do is be up a little bit high in the center of the corner, but underneath the 4, and then the 4 has to run a little bit higher. He could cut back down and rotate, and that's really the best way to get a pass done at Bristol, where the high line is so good and the car is so tight. Marinac has actually done a pretty good job of keeping up. Right now in 3rd, and he is getting pressured by the 33 of David Lanza, but all 4 cars right here at the top 4 are all on top of each other as we wind this race down with 36 laps to go.
How about the top 6 all right in line there? Bobby Terrell running out the field here. He started 25th up to 6th, just riding around. This will be an awesome finish for him after winning last week, but it's not the finish he wants because he wants to make up points on the race or on the points leader, and right now he's losing at least 2 plus the points that Marinac got for leading a lap or 2. So, Terrell really has to get in front of Marinac, and he's got to finish a spot or 2 in front of him, probably 3 or 4 to make up the points that he'll lose throughout the course of this race. And again, this might not be his racetrack. You might see him come alive at another racetrack similar to Kentucky or, one of them 1.5 miles or something like that. But Terrell, I wouldn't count him out of the championship hunt. Only 12 points back. He's definitely coming. Maybe just not his racetrack, but you see Lanza now looking underneath the 24 machine of Stefan Marinac. Lacrosse was falling way back off of the floor, and he's making a huge run. Now shoots down the inside. Maybe not quite. Gonna go back to the outside. Gets close. Might have nailed the wall. No, he didn't. And he's now side by side with the race leader.
I'll tell you what, 7 on the lead lap, but 6 are within 9/10 of a second. It's a great battle. Lacrosse doing all he can. You don't want to get a little bit too low, lose all that momentum, as David Lanza is right there back on Lacrosse. Deja vu for Matt, although he's not currently the leader, as they go by Glenn Campbell for, I believe, the 3rd time. And this is an incredible tight battle. Still 30 laps to go. Lanza, if he has this kind of speed for the rest of the run, he has enough time to try to make something happen. Lanza actually has 2 wins on the season, so this will be his 3rd win. But up there near the front, Oh, big contact.
Yeah, Lacrosse had to check up. 33 gets right in the back of him. Gonna lose several spots. One at least, and he's now side by side for a second. Lacrosse hung on, and I see driver's chat. I see some communication. I don't know what's being said, but they did communicate back and forth. We could see that.
If that's going to hurt anybody, I think it would hurt Lanza the most. When you mess up the front end of these cars, it's liable to make it handle pretty bad. But when someone just jacks you up from behind and the rear end housing is not damaged at all, you should be okay. So Lacrosse probably thinks, okay, I dodged a bullet, we're okay. But I tell you what, the 33 of Lanza still looks like it has plenty of speed. So I think these guys basically came away unscathed. But a very scary moment, battling hard for second position, and Lacrosse had to check up a little bit. Lanza was there, and these guys are high, wide, and handsome right now, right up against the wall, trying not to hit it.
And Lanza now looking back, trying to get back underneath the 24 of Stefan Marinak to pick up that spot once again, but Marinak just, running an alright line, way up next to the wall, and he's able to hold off the 33 for now. So 21 gets back to the bumper, the 4 makes contact, checks up big time. Here's the 33 down the inside. He's going to make up maybe a spot on the 24. It's the 24 to check up big time. And here's the 21. He gets a little loose off the corner, was trying to make a big run like he had been, losing some time, and the 33 is still there. They're almost 3 wide for a second. 86 looking, he's not going to get it. 33 still on the bumper. Or side by side with the 24, looking to get to the bumper of the 21 if he can get there. You see the 21 trying to make the crossover, trying to get down, but the 33 is there. He can't do it anymore. Throws into the corner, clears the 33. 33 coming back on the exit of the corner, and he's got to check up big time. He's got nowhere to go. We now have another battle for the lead as of 33, nearly underneath the 4.
I tell you what, we've got 6 cars under all within half a second in slow lap traffic. The 4 car gets turned sideways but saves it. David Lanza's in the lead. The 48 just got in his way, and CJ LeVere is losing a lot of positions. Can't be thrilled right now. That's a tough break for the 4 car as he just caught in a bad position behind a lap car. The 33 capitalizes. I almost started counting him out a second ago, and right now he's found his way back into the lead, and Matt Lacrosse is 3rd. And right now, if Dave Lanza can will not have any trouble with lap cars, he's in an amazing position with his long run speed.
Yeah, that's a big if though, and that's if we don't get another caution or something like that. As you see right now, it looks like he's in he's kind of driving away a little bit here. He's picking up a bit of time at quite a bit of time at a time here. Every lap as they go by is Truscott now leads Lacrosse for 2nd and 3rd position. It is then Terrell, and then Marvin Turmmeyer Jr. in 16, he is a lap down, was involved in the last caution. He's several laps down now, 33. It went from being on the lead lap to 33 laps down. That was very quick, as we actually have 20 laps remaining here. How about that? This caution flies on the racetrack.
Yeah, there's a wreck down the backstretch. The 48's involved, the 77's involved. Interesting enough, Aaron Truscott actually made his way into 2nd in that whole ordeal. He was about to get passed for 5th. And when the 48 and the 4 got together, he benefited from that. But the 48 involved again, and we'll have to see what happened here. He's turned around on the back straightaway, I believe.
You remember 48 was the lap car in front of the leader, in front of LeVere before they made contact, or before he checked up. It cost LeVere a lot of time. I don't know what happened exactly. Here you watch for the caution. The 48 goes into turn number 3 and 4. He comes off 4, nails the wall, comes down, collects the 77, and that's going to turn the 77 around of General Watkins, and 48 ends up on the inside wall. Hit it pretty hard. John Abbott going to be our inside sim racing Shakespeare Designs lucky dog, and we're working caution with less than 20 laps remaining.
Yeah, the 48. Sometimes these walls feel like rubber. When you hit them, you have to sort of expect what the car is going to do, and it'll send you left in a hurry, and there's a lot of times there's nothing you can do about it, except, of course, not hitting the wall. But once you commit to hitting the wall, it'll send you left in a hurry, and it sent him down the track very quickly. The 77 just gets turned head on into the wall. The 57 also involved, and all of those cars, I believe, were a number of laps down, damaged in earlier wrecks. They become a handful when they've got quite a bit of damage, and that's the risk when you come back out and you're trying to gain those extra points. When there's a lot of attrition, your car's not handling right, it's a lot easier to make a mistake.
Indeed, here as we now work lap 184. I do believe 17 laps remaining here. I believe gonna have 15 laps to go when we take the green flag, or less than 15. Well, we're going to step away for our final commercial break of the night. We'll even skip the commercial for driver interviews. How about that? Just for you, but we'll be right back in just a moment with the final 15 or so laps of green flag racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. Pace car gets set to dive off, and we're about to go back green flag racing. There goes the pace car, maybe. As I believe we're working off turn number 4. There goes the pace car, and we're green flag racing now. Lanza takes the green. How about this? He and the top 4, I want to say, are on old tires. Top 3 actually, and then there's Lacrosse and Levere who are on 2 tires.
Yeah, CJ Levere just had a great start as 21 just gets into the 7. Pretty hard there, no harm, no foul. But very, very hard contact there. Newer tires, and he's trying to aggressively get the position. That is 2 hits in a matter of a lap in 15 seconds, folks. And Lacrosse is into him again as CJ looks below him, and he's looking 3 wide.
I really don't think he wants to lose this race, and I would hate to be the 21 with the 7 behind you. As here he goes. Hope the 7 does not come down. He gets around him, and he is now setting his sights on the 33 of David Lanza. What a pass. That was extremely aggressive, and I think, the 21, he really does not want to give up the win. I don't know that he's too happy with the way the race was won last week.
Yeah, maybe that might be a factor, as I thought that Matt Lacrosse might have been a little bit too conservative on that restart. Did not get a very good restart. I thought CJ might have had the position on him, but Matt quickly got around him. Now David Lanza wants to see these laps unfold very, very quickly. He just does not have the tires. Matt right now will have to, he's going to get raced hard, but it'll be a good battle. Does he have the tires to clear him in one shot? It doesn't look like it. That highline is very, very strong. And Dave Lanza on the outside is just going to try to hope that Matt just uses his stuff up. But new tires is hard to overcome, and Lanza hits the wall out of 4, and Lacrosse is in the lead with 8 laps to go.
And yeah, this is definitely interesting, as he's going to run away. He's on newer tires. He's really good on newer tires, and especially because you talk about the strategy. 2 tires and a full tank of fuel, and you're good. You're going to loosen up that car. It's going to turn. I think we're seeing that here as the 21 is driving now away from the 33 of David Lanza with just about 6 laps remaining when we take the start-finish line this time by as they come off of turn number 4.
Yeah, there's a nice battle for third right now. CJ Levere in the 4 car on the outside is above John Abbott. CJ on 2, I believe John Abbott's on 4 tires, and Aaron Truscott, as they make a little bit of contact but come through there fine, but Aaron Truscott right behind them in 6th place took 4 tires, repaired some of that damage that he has. A very close battle here as Matt Lacrosse just distances himself from the 33 car of Dave Lanza. Right now, with 5 laps to go, the next flag will end the race. As the 10 car gets sideways, wreck on the back stretch, the 10 car's around.
That caution's out, and Lacrosse comes line for 4 to go. He catches the pace car. We're going to have 3 to go when he comes across the line. I believe the race may be over here.
Yeah, that should do it. As Larry Mack once said, caution's out, the race is over. Matt Lacrosse had to get it done quickly, and he did. That was about, I think they went green with 13 laps to go. And he was on Bobby Terrell trying to make it happen. And I tell you what, when you're in Lanza's position, there's not a whole lot you can do. When you have a late caution like that, you have to stay out, or if you pit, odds are people are going to beat you on strategy and stay out and put you in a bad spot. So Lanza did what he had to do, and Matt Lacrosse, driving very aggressively in those closing laps, got the lead. Looks like he will get the win that he barely missed out on last week. And this will be his third win of the season, should there not be any mechanical difficulties completing these final 2 laps.
I'll tell you what, he was just talking back and forth on the radio with Bobby Terrell. I was able to intercept a little bit of the conversation, and he did apologize. He was not intending to get into him that many times. I'm going to quote that many times, but he did intend to get into him at least once or twice there.
Yeah, when you've got newer tires, even if it's just 2, those right sides are basically all you need at this track. And the center speed is such a difference that you close people very, very quickly. Add into that, you know that you're running out of time and you are just trying to make it happen. And it's very easy to get a little too aggressive because your adrenaline's high and you're expecting the higher center speed. And guys in front of you on old tires at the end of a race, it could be a very tricky situation. But it worked out. He did not send Terrell around, and he'll get the win for it.
Yeah, Terrell finishes 6th, but here we go. Really fast, we're going to be collecting the white flag lap here, the final lap that Lacrosse has to run before he wins the race. Why don't we go ahead and pull up the replay, and let's watch this interesting restart Lacrosse has in his charge to 2nd place and eventually the lead. And it'll be from his in-car, actually, so you'll get to see firsthand the action.
He definitely had the best seat in the house. I believe he restarted somewhere around 6th or so, I can't quite remember, or 4th. And Matt Lacrosse just barely missing out last week. Does what he has to do this week. A great effort for Lanza. I don't think you could have any regrets when you're in his situation. In the closing laps, actually, Stefan Marinac fell all the way to 7th place. He was one of those guys who stayed on old tires. It did not work out for him. Sometimes you get caught low and you're getting trained and you lose everything. As we come around turn 4 for the final time, Matt Lacrosse about to cross the finish line and win this race.
We have him on the radio ready for his exact thoughts as he crosses the start-finish line. Matt Lacrosse, what a race.
Yeah, man. Last week I dominated, pretty much led the most laps, and came up short, and I'm glad we were able to put it together today.
Now, a lot of the topic's going to be, I know we heard a little bit about, the in-car. We heard about the incident. You said you didn't mean to get into him that many times, but did you actually mean to get into him just a little bit?
Well, I knew I was on better tires than he was, and Stefan was on my inside, and I was doing everything I could to not, because I knew I was faster than both of them. But every time I went in the corner, it's like, man, is he really going that slow? Like, I just couldn't believe that 2 tires was that much faster. So no, I didn't mean to get into him. I was trying to bump him a little bit, but I mean, I hit him like 6 times in a row, and so yeah, that's how it works.
But you were up on the charge in the field last week. You got a little bit of made a little bit of contact, and you got kind of booted to 3rd place. This week you capitalized, you get the win, and I mean, this is 2 good races in a row. And this track's so similar to Darlington. Is there a pattern here? You won at Darlington, you win here, all that.
Yeah, I like Bristol. Usually I burn my tires off a little too much in the beginning of a run, and I'm never able to stay up front for very long. And I worked on it a little bit and tried to backen up my corners and not using so much brake, and it worked out pretty well. Darlington here. I don't know. Some tracks are good and some tracks are not. So.
And if it went green to the end, about 100 laps into the event, maybe 135, could you have won the race when David Lanza ran you down from 4 seconds back and was pulling away? Or he hadn't been pulling away. He had just caught you, was trying to make the pass. Do you think you could have beat him?
That would have been a fun race. David's always fast, and it's really, really tough to try to pass on the bottom. Unless you have a significant tire advantage, it's very, very difficult to try to get by somebody on the bottom. David caught me quick, but we were in that lap traffic, and it would have been a heck of a race, and I wish it would have raced that way because that would have been fun.
All right, and here's your chance to throw out any shout-outs you may have here.
I'd like to thank you guys up in the booth, ETV. I'd like to thank Derek Spear Designs, Inside Sim Racing. I'd like to thank Quick Car Racing Products, Hippie's Paint Shop over at hippiespaintshop.com. I'd like to thank all the teammates over at Fearless. CJ came home third today. Stefan, I'm not sure where he finished, but and Augusto and Frank and Josh, everybody over at Fearless. And woohoo! Winner.
Well, there you go. There's Mountain Lacrosse, your winner here tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. Fantastic performance for him, and what an event, with the bumps and everything at the end. That was kind of cool to see, but I'll tell you what, now we have our second place finisher in Harrison. Take the reins.
Yeah, I'm here with David Lanzo, who I know for a number of years, and I have to say, David, you really looked like you were the fastest car on the long run throughout this event. And obviously got caught a little bit in the middle of the pack, but qualified 10th, worked your way forward, ended up second. How do you rate this race overall for you?
Well, it's a good race. I would have liked to win one. I didn't want to see that caution, but that's just the way it fell. So what can you do? And then I kept contemplating: do I want to pit? Do I want to pit? I know everybody's going to pit, and then I missed the commitment cone, so I was stuck out there anyways. I needed 4 laps less, or at least 4 cars to stay out with me.
Yeah, definitely as a leader, you're put into a box because they'll do whatever you don't do. And in the middle portion of the race, when you had to fight back and you lost some track position, one of the things that we barely missed and then caught up on was it that you and Matt possibly just kind of missed when pit road opened? You came in the second time and then had to fight your way back. Is that what happened?
No, well, I don't know about on Matt's end, but my end, it looked like it said it was closed still. It's like by the time we got to the pace car, I could have sworn mine still said closed. And then when I saw that it said open, I was already past the cone. So that was a kind of a mess up on my part, I think.
Yeah, that's a rough deal. But as far as definitely, you looked amazing on the long runs. And do you think that the setup and the track and the car just kind of fell into your style, or did you have to were you consciously trying to save the right front tire to keep it rotating?
Pretty much save. Those guys would pull out to at least a 3-second lead on me. In practice, I hated the track, to tell you the truth. I just didn't like it at all. But race time, it seemed to suit me when all the cars were out there on the long run. That was. I mean, I was able to run Matt down from. At one point, I was like 3.6 seconds back, and I was able to run him down. But yeah, it was saving that right front was really important.
And it was a really nice showing for that 33 car. And who would you like to thank? Who makes it happen for you?
Well, RSR, ETV, you guys do a phenomenal job. Hippie's Paint Shop, they paint my cars, phenomenal looking cars. And Inside Sim Racing, couldn't do it without them either. Oh, and my teammates, sorry. Got to thank my teammates, Chad Cole, Glenn Campbell, and Guy Schneider.
That's Dave Lanza, your second place finisher tonight at Bristol.
And how about our third place finisher? That's CJ Lavere, number 4 machine. He was fast. He led some laps. Just wasn't able to get it entirely done. But Lavere, I know you had you basically had a front row seat to the big bumps. I mean, that's been something we were talking about. Lacrosse came through on 2 tires, and I mean, just nailed the 7 car repeatedly. Was able to finally get by. Were you a little worried you were going to get involved in an incident there at the end?
Yeah, I was going into Bristol just trying to stay out of harm's way and just kind of ride it out, kind of points racing, trying to gain some ground on my teammates Stefan and Bobby, and doing that's pretty difficult because them guys they're strong, so you got to be up front. I just got to keep myself in position and try not to get in them wrecks. We're going for wins, but if we're in front of them, that's a win.
CJ, man, I mean, you had a pretty good race. Where did you miss? What could you have done better now that you think about it at the end of the race here?
I was really conservative. I think I could have drove it a little bit harder, but I'm running with my teammates up front pretty much the whole race, and I didn't need to, push it too hard. So I could have tried a little harder, but there might have been a wreck, and my teammates are there, so it wasn't worth it.
And CJ, I know we're coming. I believe we're going to be coming up on a few more 1.5 milers. I know Atlanta next week. I want to say, can we look to see some another few front, maybe top fives here?
You can definitely look for this Hippies Paint Shop #4 to be out front. For the rest of the season, we're looking in our kind of the schedule is ending just in our favorite tracks.
All right, CJ. Well, here's your final chance, right? Any shout-outs you may have here?
I got to thank RSR, Inside Sim Racing TV, Hippies Paint Shop. You guys do an awesome job. I also got to thank Derek Spears Design for sponsoring the series. Without all these sponsors, we wouldn't be able to run.
All right, thank you, CJ LeVere, and that was your third place finisher here tonight. Now that was Bristol Motor Speedway. This is the Inside Sim Racing Derek Spear Designs Asphalt Assault Series, brought to you by Real Sim Racing. And I'm Dakota Erman, and we have Harrison Whitelids. I cannot do names right now. I apologize, Harrison, but I mean, we had a really interesting race here tonight, and it was 200 laps. You would think, oh my God, but that only took about an hour and a half there. So I mean, that was not too bad. Really excited to see next week in Atlanta what happens. I believe Tim Terry will be back in the broadcast booth, and we might even have Harrison back. Harrison Wedlitz might be back in the broadcast booth next week. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I do believe I should be back. And tonight's race, very enjoyable to watch. A couple early cautions, and once they got that sorted out, a lot of green racing, a lot of comers and goers, a lot of guys better on older tires than newer tires, and you didn't quite know which way it was going to go. Depending on when the final cautions fell, if they fell at all, was going to dictate who won this race. And certainly it came down to a little bit of strategy, as Lanza, the fastest car in the long run, I would say, finishes second to Matt Lacrosse, who led the most laps, I do believe, and was very, very, very fast, especially in the early portions of the run.
Well, for Bristol Motor Speedway, I believe that's all we have this week. Again, tune in next week for Tim Terry, Harrison Whitelids. I believe that's right. They'll be coming at you from Atlanta. It's going to be a lot of fun. I guarantee it. Atlanta provides for great racing, a lot of full throttle action. So just tune in for the Asphalt Assault Series tomorrow night. Super Speedway Cup, SSSeries.com. Check them out. Monday night, the Full Throttle Cup Series. Just check us out, etv-eplay.net. That's all we have, so we'll see you next week.